halfway around the world. And so we're making it easier on her to be with us today. I am so excited to introduce her in a minute here. Before I do that, though, I am Robin Klein, founder and owner of Klein and Company Travel Consulting. And I would love for you to join me and become a Klein and Company insider, which you can do at the email address that is scrolling right down here below, or excuse me, website address. Just go there, enter your name and your email address, and you'll get all kinds of fabulous news each week, updates, and a few little special gifts from me. So in just a second, we will have our guest on here, but I'm going to play my little opening for you today before we do that. So hang on a second. All right. Some weeks I play it, some weeks I don't. This week I am coming to you from my living room because I'm in the midst of doing a big project I was just telling Karen about. So this is our guest today, Karen Fedorko Sefer? How do you pronounce it? Sefer. Okay. All right. I should have asked that in the pre-show. I should have asked how I pronounce it, so I didn't start off by mispronunciation. But Karen is the founder and owner of Sea Songs in Turkey. And she is going to give us a fabulous tour around Turkey today. We're going to start in Istanbul and kind of work our way down, and we're going to experience several different methods of seeing Turkey. But before we do that, Karen, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up doing what you're doing.
Oh, great. That's a long story, but I'll make it short.
Okay.
I was previously in the fashion business, and I was doing some business in Turkey, traveling back and forth between New York and Istanbul. And I met this wonderful man on an airplane. And I came to Turkey, and we, hit it off or whatever. And after about 2 years, I moved to Turkey, and I left my position in the company, and I started Sea Song, because in Turkey, the quality of the tourism was very low at the time. It was 23 years ago. And we worked really hard over the years to teach a lot of the suppliers how to service luxury clients. So we worked and built the company, and now it's probably one of the most recognized companies in Turkey now. And it's my new home. I love it. I've lived here for so long. I'm in Istanbul, 90% of my time. And just spending time welcoming guests and interacting with the people that visit us.
That's great. I love that, and I also love working with people like you who are in the destinations. It makes such a big difference when I have my clients here and I'm sending them halfway around the world to know that the people that I'm working with are actually, boots on the ground, so to speak, and you're invested there, obviously, since you live there and
Yes.
have all these great connections. And, we don't ever like to talk about things going wrong, but sometimes they do in travel. And so having people that are right there is so important.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So we're going to go along here, and we're going to start with this map. And you can still hear me, correct?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Well, you tell us about just a little bit about these spots, and we'll start looking at pictures so we can see all these places.
Okay. All right. So the journey that we're going to take today starts at the top left of the screen where it says Istanbul. Istanbul is the culture capital and the largest city in Turkey. It's the only city in the world on 2 continents. You can see on the left-hand side of the Istanbul sign is Europe, and the rest of the country is in Asia. So there's a waterway in the middle of Istanbul called the Bosphorus, which separates Europe from Asia. And then we're going to move over to Cappadocia, which is a region in the center of Turkey, you can see. And there's lots of little towns that are incorporated inside the area of Cappadocia. And then we're going to move over to Ephesus, which is about an hour flight from Cappadocia. And we're going to see the most important Roman city in the world, which is located in Turkey, obviously. And then we're going to go down to Bodrum, which is about a 2.5-hour drive. And we're going to talk about our gulet yacht charters and how we go from Bodrum over to Göcek and what we see along the way. So this is a great map to just show you where we're going on our voyage today.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, let's start with Istanbul. And I think most people that want to get there or have been there obviously recognize this, but give us a little more information.
This is one of the most important Ottoman buildings in Turkey. It's called the Blue Mosque. And it's called the Blue Mosque because of the blue Iznik tiles that are inside the building, which are absolutely amazing. It's a real work of art. It's the power of the Ottoman Empire. And it's the only mosque in Turkey with 6 minarets. You see the tall, pointy minarets? That's what they're called, minarets, where they call to prayer. But this is a masterpiece of the Ottoman Empire.
I'm sure you can't even tell. I mean, this picture is absolutely fantastic, but I'm sure unless you just see it in person, you can't even appreciate it that much.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, I would say. And now we're looking at the Santa Sophia, which is the most important Byzantine building in Istanbul. So we have the power of the Ottoman Empire is the Blue Mosque, and we have the power of the Byzantine Empire, which is the Santa Sophia. And Santa Sophia has been a mosque, it's been a church, it's been a museum, and just recently, a number of months ago, it was turned into a mosque again. So now officially it is Santa Sophia Mosque. But inside, it has beautiful frescoes that were painted on the walls during the Byzantine times. And they're just spectacular. It's the Empress Zoe, the Emperor, and they're just beautiful mosaics. They're still in place. You can still see them. It's just a little bit different atmosphere right now as a mosque, but it's still a beautiful building.
Oh, it looks gorgeous. And before you talk about this one, I just want to remind people that are watching, please go ahead and type your questions in I'll ask Karen what you want to know or comments. We'd love to know what you're thinking while you're watching all this. Okay, go ahead, Karen.
Great. So now we're entering the Topkapi Palace. This is the palace where the sultans lived for over 600 years. So you walk into this beautiful entrance here, and there's an incredible courtyard that you walk through, which is all beautifully restored. There's a lovely church inside, which was never turned into a mosque. And then you go straight through, and you'll come to another entrance, the main entrance to the Topkapi Palace. And then you'll go through the main entrance and come into another courtyard, which has the most spectacular architecture that you can imagine from the Ottoman times. You can see on the architecture, you can see the wall in the back, that all of the brick is from the Byzantine period and all of the stone is from the Ottoman period. So inside we have the Harem section, which is where the sultans actually lived. We have the treasury, which has all of the beautiful jewelry and goblets, etc., that the Ottomans had. The Ottoman Empire was very wealthy. Lots of emeralds and diamonds. The Topkapi diamond is amazing. And then as you walk through, there's just many quarters that you can see that are all beautifully tiled with gorgeous views over the Bosphorus and gorgeous views on the other side over the Marmara Sea, surrounded by the sea with very strong city walls so that the palace was well protected from their enemies.
Wow. Sounds fabulous. Oh, we're skipping that one because I put that in the wrong place. So we're glossing over that. Okay, go ahead.
And this is what we call the underground city. This was also built in the Byzantine period. You can see the bricks on the ceiling. And also it was done with bricks so that the rainwater could come through the bricks and into the cistern. All of the drinking water for the palaces was built underneath the ground. And all of these columns came from many, many places all throughout the countryside, and they were put together here. So every one of them basically is different. There's also two that have the Medusa head on them, which are just spectacular pieces of architecture.
Wow.
But when they went to war,
sorry. I'm sorry. That's my fault. Go ahead.
When they went to war, they needed to make sure that the people that were fighting them couldn't cut off their water supply. So when they came, they couldn't find the water supply because it was under the ground. So that was the strategy for the underground cistern. There's many throughout the city.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then, of course,
this is iconic. We
yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Robin. I'm getting excited when I see these pictures. This is the Spice Bazaar, probably one of the most interesting bazaars in Turkey. When you walk in, it smells like you're walking into the Orient. It has a wonderful smell of all the spices and a nice atmosphere. It's a small bazaar. It's a T-shaped. It's about maybe a 45-minute to an hour visit. There's lots of little shops and, dried fruit and apricots and pistachios. So there's everything that you could want from a spice point of view, Turkish delights, lots of great souvenirs to bring back home.
Beautiful. And wow.
Yes. And of course, the Grand Bazaar is the Grand Bazaar. It's the oldest shopping mall in the world, and it's the largest shopping mall in the world. There's 4,000 shops in the Grand Bazaar, and you can just hunt for treasures for hours. So I always recommend, there's so much fun, in the Grand Bazaar to find all different types of things. Allow enough time to be able to, hunt for that special treasure. There's everything that you can think of there. There's carpets, there's jewelry, there's ceramics, there's these lights, you name it, it's in the Grand Bazaar. And
you have to get your
Evil
own plane
Eyes
to take it home.
Pack it up and take it home. Or, so if something's large enough, they'll go ahead and ship it.
Right. Okay.
And shipping's usually included in the price.
That makes sense.
This particular photo is a photo of the Harem inside the Topkapi Palace. And this is where the sultans actually lived. And you can see the couch with the cover over it. That's typical of where the sultan sits. So this is where the sultan would sit inside his special section of the palace that nobody would be able to visit. But now you can visit it. It's a separate entrance, but definitely worth doing. It's wonderful to see the tiles, and it's been totally renovated.
It looks fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So now we're moving on to Cappadocia, another iconic site. When we, think of Turkey, a lot of us think of seeing this.
Probably one of the most exciting experiences that you can do in Cappadocia is a hot air balloon flight, because you can see the lunar landscape on this photo. And when you get up in the balloon and float over the lunar landscape, it's an unbelievable, once in a lifetime experience. I mean, you get up really early in the morning and you go to the takeoff site. They blow up the balloon, so you watch them blow up the balloon, and then it's time to get into the basket. And then they take you up with the hot air, and you just float for an hour or an hour and a half, depending on how long you want to stay up. And then you start to descend, and you land in in one of the fields, and then you have like a little welcome party at the end and celebrate your wonderful flight, and then head on back to the hotel. But it's really a very special experience that should not be missed.
I've only been in a hot air balloon one time, and it was fabulous. I loved it. I'm dying to do it again. All
And
right.
also in Cappadocia, the stone is like, it's called a turfa. It's like a limestone, so that you can dig into it very easily. And the early Christians lived in Cappadocia, and they were hiding from the Romans because they were not permitted to preach Christianity at the time. So they had to live below the ground in these caves, because when the Romans came to see if anybody was in this region of the world, they looked and the plain was flat, so they turned around and went back. But all of the people were living down in the valleys, and their homes were dug into the side of the mountains. So they had water, they had their animals, they made wine, they did everything underground. They had very sophisticated ventilation systems. So it's really interesting to see in a number of places in Cappadocia how these people lived, where they lived, and how they really spent their life, living off of the land.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting. However, they did not have those lovely electric lights that you see there.
No, they wish they had.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So would this be a view from a balloon ride or someplace else?
This could be a view from a balloon ride. It could be a view from a hike. Um, it could be a view from biking through the valley. It is an absolute perfect example of the fairy chimneys and what the landscape evolved over millions of years of volcanoes, wind, and these formations formed over all this time, just basically from weather.
Mm,
And there's no two that are the same. This
yeah.
is what we call a typical fairy chimney.
Yeah. Wow.
And this is in Debrant Valley, which is a beautiful valley. And you just walk through all of the fairy chimneys, and you see different colors, different sizes. It's just magnificent the way they formed.
I'm
It's nothing
sure.
like you've ever seen anywhere else in the world.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, so now we're gonna go back to the coast, and we're gonna get on a gulet here, which tell us exactly what a gulet is.
Ah, a gulet is a wooden sailing yacht with sails and also a motor. They're built in Bodrum in the south of Turkey, about um, an hour flight from Istanbul. And these gulets go out for 7 days, from Saturday to Saturday. You can see this is a full sail, one of the beautiful yachts. We have different qualities of yachts, but this experience is amazing. I mean, you're really, when you in Bodrum, you want to see Bodrum by the sea, because the sea is very beautiful and very different than the rest of the country.
Mm,
This
and
is a
there's another
view from
view.
Bodrum, the Bodrum Castle, where you will leave or start your embarkation. And this is where you sail out from Bodrum into the sea and start your voyage.
Ah, nice. And we've got
This
a
is
view
another
there.
little village called Bosburn, which is on the route we would do the route from Bodrum to go check. But in these little villages, you can stop. This particular one has a nice little yacht club, so you can go to the yacht club for lunch or for dinner. You can do some water sports in the in one of the coves. You can just get off and walk around and meet the locals. I mean, it's very difficult to get to this area because the roads are not good from here. So you're lucky going from the sea so that you can experience an area that's not so crowded.
Mm, nice. And this is fabulous. What is up here in the rock, in the face of the rock?
These are called the Lycian rock tombs, and these were built in Lycian times, very, very long time ago. And then the Romans came and they decorated them and made them a little more fancy. But these are where they would bury their dead. So they're like tombs. They're rock tombs.
Wow.
And what we do is we
Sorry. My fault. Yeah, go ahead.
We get on one of those little river boats, and we do private river boats, and we take you up the Dalian River. So you go past these Lycian rock tombs. And then also we have the Creta turtles that are swimming in the water. And then there's also an ancient city there that can be visited. So there's a lot to do, a lot of activities from the gulet.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. And you get to visit the little towns like we were talking about.
Yeah. This is a cute little town called Dacia. And it's very, very pretty with all stone houses. They have a little olive oil farm there. They're famous for their honey and for their almonds. And it's an agricultural area, so they grow olives there. And you can, bike around the town. You can walk around the town. It's just really pretty.
Beautiful. And then, okay, so we're getting back on, or we've spent our day in town now, or a little while, and we're getting back on. Obviously, the sun is setting, and isn't this beautiful? Just have a nice little champagne and sail around, huh?
Yeah, you can see the champagne in the photo.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ready for a sunset.
Beautiful.
Being on a gulet and being in the sea, around the turquoise coast of Turkey is just a spectacular, relaxing, exciting experience. And it's great for families and friends. Sit around, relax. You can jump in the water and swim. It's just getting away from it all.
Sure.
And just, relaxing.
It sounds absolutely fabulous. And then, of course, you can just, sail into one of these spots and have a little day at the beach too.
Yeah, this is a great little beach. And there's a lot of beaches like this that you can only get to from the sea. So you may see one other gulet there, but you're not going to see a crowded beach, because these are very, very difficult to get to. So everything that you do on the gulet is very special.
Yeah, and then you have bays, you said, as well.
These are the coves and the bays, and every corner that you turn around, you see something more beautiful. And you can see here that the watercolor also changes as you move to different parts of the route. You can see here the crystal turquoise water. You can look down from the gulet and you can see to the very, very bottom of the sea. It's crystal clear with lots of little fishes. And you just get out and swim. You can swim to the shore. It's just a spectacular experience.
It looks absolutely heavenly. And if you really feel like you want some exercise and to motor yourself someplace, you can do it this way.
Yeah, it's always a good idea to plan a couple of days doing some water sports and activities. The kayaking is very popular, and it's also a great sport for exercise. The stand-up paddle boards, the ski, water skiing. There's really lots to do, and usually you're the only one in the cove doing it. So again, it's private, it's special.
Yeah, and then so before you start talking about how fabulous the cruise are, I do have one question about the food, which we see all this food laid out on the table here. As far as accommodating special diets and things like that, how does that work?
Once the gulet is confirmed, we send out a provisioning list, and we ask everybody to tell us what they want to eat and what they want to have on board. So at that point, if there's a special diet, you just tell us what the special diet is, and we'll make sure that everything that you want for that special diet is on board. And then we can brief the chef, because every gulet has a wonderful chef. And then we'll make sure that the chef prepares exactly what you want. And if you want to have a little meeting with the chef just to discuss what you want for the next day, that's possible too. We also give everybody a little cookbook so you can cook with the chef on board, which is a lot of fun.
Ooh, that would be fun. Okay, so here's a map of some of the places you can go on the gulet. So give us what a route might look like.
Okay, so if we start up at the top, there's an airport at Bodrum. You can see the airport sign at the top, and you can see the Gulf of Gokova. So we start in Bodrum, and then we travel down to there's a little ancient city called Knidos on the tip of the Dacia Peninsula. We stop there for a little hiking in the ancient city. Then we come around to Dacia, which we saw a picture of with the little stone houses and the almond and the honey. Spend a little time there. Then we go over to Bosburn. You can see the other red dot, which is the one with that has the yacht club. And then we come around and you can see where Simi Island is in Greece, and you can see the gray tip of Turkey. When you go through, you can almost touch Greece. It's so close. Wow. And then you come around to Sirkeci Bay, where there's a number of shipwrecks, and then up to Marmaris, which is a cute little town with a great harbor. And then we go to Knidos, which we talked about with the little riverboats and the Lycian rock tombs. And then we go straight down to Fethiye with the little red dot, Fethiye, where there's a lot of beaches and a lot of islands to go to. And then we go up to Göcek at the top, where we get off the gulet in a beautiful marina. And then we go over to Dalaman Airport and fly back to Istanbul. So there's airports on both sides.
Yep.
Easy to get in and out.
Perfect. Yes. Yes. All right. Well, I'm dying to do that. But in the meantime, let's go to Ephesus.
Ephesus is the most important Roman city in the world, and it's located near Kuşadası in Turkey. These are the terrace houses where the wealthy Ephesians lived. You can see the frescoes on the walls and the mosaics on the floors. They're all in perfect mint condition. This excavation was not done until the site was covered with a tent. So they've never been exposed to the elements of the sun or the rain. So they're really beautiful and a must visit inside Ephesus.
Beautiful. This
is one of the most important libraries in the world. There's 3 major Roman libraries. One is this one, the Celsius Library in Ephesus. There's another one in Pergamon, which is also in Turkey. And the third one is in Alexandria in Egypt.
Great.
This is the Great Theater inside Ephesus. And in ancient times, there was about 400,000 people living in Ephesus. And this beautiful theater could handle 25,000 people for a show.
Wow. Well, the Romans definitely liked their theaters, didn't they?
Yes.
So something we talked about, and this I thought was really intriguing, was doing a road trip. So, I think with the way things have changed a little bit, you guys are really on to something here and have come up with this little route to drive.
Yes, we were receiving a number of requests for people that wanted to do something on the road rather than flights. They wanted to eliminate a number of flights. So we thought, okay, let's do a portion of the trip by the road, and then they can eliminate some of the flying. So we started in Istanbul after we finished our 3 or 4 nights in Istanbul, and then driving down, following the arrow, we'll drive through the wine country so that you can stop in a couple of vineyards on the way and taste the wines. And then we have some really cute little boutique hotels that you can stay in on the way, wine taste as you go. You can see ancient Troy, which is very difficult to get to because there's no flights to that area. So it's kind of a little bit off the beaten track and not crowded at all. And then you can, come around, and there's a little place called Ayvalık there where they harvest all of the olives, most of the best quality olives in Turkey. And there's some little cooking schools that we can do there. There's some little islands that you can go to. It's very authentic and real, because this area, like I said, is very difficult to get to because of the no flights. And then Pergamon is the other ancient Roman city, which I told you about, the library. It has the second biggest library. And then on our way down, we pass Izmir, which is the third largest city in Turkey, and go over to a little town called Alajate, which is just a quick ferry boat ride from Turkey to Greece, but we'll stay on the Turkey side. Cute little town. Nice stone houses. It was a Greek village years ago. Now it's a Turkish village, but again, very high quality, very beautiful. And then we can go from Ephesus. We can go over to Ephesus from Alajate, and then we can take a flight either back to Istanbul, or we can take a flight to Cappadocia, 1 hour, 1 hour. Or we can drive down to Bodrum, which is 2.5 hours. So it gives us an option once we finish the road trip to go somewhere else.
Yeah. And this is one of the towns you were just talking about, the little town of Alakat. Say it again. I'm not going to say it
Alajate,
right.
yes.
Yes. Okay.
You can see cute. How much restoration work has been done here. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful, wonderful atmosphere, all the little boutique shops, all farm-to-table restaurants. It's just a delight.
It looks wonderful. And then the wineries that you were talking about. So this is a really cool building, very modern and interesting. I like that.
This is probably one of the best wineries in Turkey. They produce wines, red wines, and that are very close to Bordeaux, because the soil is very similar to Bordeaux. So they are producing world-class wines here. And they don't export, so nobody knows about them because everything's consumed in the country. So when you come, you're going to be very surprised to learn about all the different wines that we have in Turkey that are just spectacular and world-class.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. And isn't this colorful? Looks so fresh and delicious.
Yeah, you'll always find markets all throughout Turkey. And in certain places like Istanbul has markets every day someplace. But this particular one is in Alajate. It's every Saturday. And all the farmers from all the region come into the town, and the entire town is all a big farmers market. So I always encourage everybody, when you're coming to Alajate, make sure you schedule a Saturday, because it's really, really, really a fun day. And it's so authentic and so real.
And what is, so on the top there, all the fluffy red, what is that? I'm trying to read it and I can't see it. At the top of the picture in the crates.
They're dried flowers.
Oh, okay. All right.
And at the bottom, you can see the dried lavender.
Yes. Nice. Oh, I bet it smells fantastic too. So, and you can have a little bike tour around town if you want to.
Yeah, it's biking through the little stone streets, or you can take the bike down to the beach. They have beautiful white sandy beaches, and nice. Just enjoy the day on the bike.
Oh, wow. Well, gosh, that concludes our trip to Turkey. I mean, obviously we could go a lot more places than that, but that's kind of the time we allotted today. And what fun. I just cannot wait to get there myself. I mean, there's so much of that I want to do. And I know that everybody watching enjoyed seeing that as well. What, if somebody said to you, what's the best time of year to go to Turkey? I imagine it's a year-round destination, isn't it?
Certain areas are year-round. Istanbul and Cappadocia, Ephesus are year-round. Bodrum is generally from June to October. It's a seasonal resort area. And the same thing with the gulets.
Yeah. Okay. And what kind of weather would you expect in, let's say if you wanted to come in September, or into early October, would you expect, it would probably maybe be a little cooler, but would you expect less crowds and to maybe be a little, have it a little more to yourself? Or is it kind of bumper to bumper from start to beginning of the season?
I would say September and October are probably one of my most favorite times. Yeah. The weather is like in the 70s, and the water is still warm. and it's not crowded because all the children are back to school.
Yeah.
So it's really a great time to come.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was on a call with you through our host agency not too long ago, and somebody asked you what was kind of the what people were most surprised about when they come to Turkey, and you I think said that kind of how sophisticated everything is and how good the food is, and that people are surprised by that. So just tell us a little more about because you've lived there for 23 years and what the experience is like with the people and just the country in general.
Well, the Turkish people are very hospitable. They love guests. They love to chat with people, even people that they don't know. And people have a preconceived notion of what they think it's like in Turkey. So, and it's usually completely opposite of what it really is. So when they do come to Turkey and they see how sophisticated it is, especially, in Istanbul and in other areas of the country, it's like normal life. And, we have a very young population and lots of energy, lots of creativity. And it's just a beautiful cultural country. And they just get surprised. And I think the cuisine is also a big surprise because it's so good and so fresh. We don't have frozen food. So everything is, from the farms to the tables, and a lot of traditional dishes that maybe people have not tasted before. Like one of our staples is the eggplant, which sometimes people don't eat a lot of eggplants in other parts of the world, but we eat eggplants almost every meal.
Oh, wow.
So you have 250 different ways to try an eggplant when you travel around Turkey.
I love eggplant personally. I think it might be one of those polarizing vegetables, though, kind of like Brussels sprouts. I think people either like it or don't. But it sounds to me like you probably could have it there and not even know you're eating it. Like you probably could serve it to somebody in some way they'd never even heard of or thought of, and afterwards say, oh, that was eggplant.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh gosh. Well, Karen, thank you so much. This has been so great. And I really, really appreciate you joining me today. And I'm going to go ahead and take you off the screen again while I do my closing here. But I want to thank you so much. And also just let anybody that's watching know that Karen and I would love to work together to make a trip, come up with a fabulous itinerary, because everything is, kind of specialized. It's not a one size fits all thing. When we work together, we, really learn who we're dealing with, who our clients are, what they like, what they dislike, and make it fit you. It's not, you don't have to fit the trip. So that's one of the beauties about the kind of business that you run and working with a travel advisor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Robin. And thank everybody.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, that was fun. I really enjoyed getting to go to Turkey today and can't wait to get to go to Turkey in person. If you'd like to go to Turkey, give me a call. Let's talk about it. Also, just as a reminder, like I said before, please sign up to become a client and company insider at my website and get those free sample itineraries and weekly updates. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week.